Welcome, MOAA family, to the MOAA Member Chat. In today's episode, we have the Assistant Director for Compliance for George Mason University, Shamika Kentish. How you doing, Shamika?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. So, first and foremost, let's let the other MOAA family members understand your journey. Just give them a chance to know you. So, kind of in the Cliff Notes version, how did you get to your current position?
So first, start out, former student athlete, Seton Hall, ran track, interned there in the compliance office, and that's kind of where I got my start. Did 3 years at the high school level, assistant AD, and then was fortunate to go on to work at Chuan University for about 2 years. And then I was at Missouri State for about 3.5, and then now I'm at George Mason.
Gotcha. And what do you enjoy most about compliance?
That direct connection with student athletes. I just love being around the student athletes and, on the good days, the coaches. So just that personal interaction with people in the athletic department and seeing them do what they love.
Gotcha. Now, let's speak more specifically about MOAA. So how long have you been a MOAA member, and I guess what enticed you to be a member of the organization?
I've been in MOAA since 2013, I believe. Actually, my SWA at Missouri State is who signed me up, and I started getting emails. I was like, I have no idea what this is. And then I started looking into the organization, looking at the committees and all the events, and that's what really got me to become more involved with MOAA, and then going to MOAA convention. And so I was like, okay, this is an organization that's helping people that in minorities just thrive in the athletic field. So that's why I stuck with MOAA and really got involved in being on a committee. So.
Gotcha. And just for the audience, for their reference, Shamika and myself, we serve on the MOAA External Relations Committee, trying to make sure that we promote everything we have going on with MOAA, and just make sure that we're trying to keep our members engaged as we do a lot of great programming, have a lot of great awards and things of that nature. You mentioned that you were a former track and field student athlete. So quick question, besides yourself, who's your favorite track and field athlete?
So I have two. One is FloJo, just because she's FloJo.
Yes.
And then Carmelita Jeter, which I had the opportunity to work with for a couple of months. And so that was just mind-blowing that I was just like, she's right here. So that was a lot of fun.
Did you find yourself being starstruck slightly at first, and then maybe as you got more familiar with working with her, or maybe you may still feel some kind of starstruck, just kind of just from her personality and how great of an athlete she was?
So I was on her hiring committee. So I did. So it's funny that you said that. My SWA was like, please, Shamika, do not get too starstruck. So I had to take a couple of breaths and hide it. And then when she actually came on campus, I told her, I was like, I hope you know I'm like a fangirl. But then, after a couple of weeks, it was like, okay, she's cool. You got to remember they're human too. So, but after that, she was pretty cool to work with.
Gotcha. That's awesome. I think that the one time I can recall myself getting starstruck was when I met Will Smith in person. Obviously, he's from Philadelphia. I'm from Philadelphia. And I just watched the movie Hitch, and then happened to meet him that very next day through an event when I went back home. This is back when I was at Michigan State. So I can definitely relate to that feeling where you don't really know how to react but just kind of calm down and take those deep breaths and just kind of recognize they're people too. You have a chance to get some words, and so it's pretty cool.
I've always wanted to meet Will Smith. He was definitely a starstruck moment if I meet him. So
he was pretty cool. I think it was a Live 8 event or pre-Live 8 event. This had to be like mid 2000s when I went back home during one of my breaks at Michigan State. Had a chance to meet him. So sticking kind of with the off athletics for a second, if you weren't in athletics, what do you think your profession would be?
For a while, I wanted to be a lawyer. And then I realized that's not what I want to do anymore. And then so I think I would probably be like in the business field. And so the crazy thing is, like, you know, when you're growing up watching these movies and all the business people are like, you know, the hustle and bustle. I was just like, I just want to carry a briefcase and get on flights. So that's how I do it. That's what I want to do. So yeah.
Got you. Now, in terms of, let's see, something else, your favorite movie. What would your favorite movie be? Yes.
So I have three, and they're all equally my favorite. So Selena, Remember the Titans, and Cool Runnings. So those, I mean, I've watched them on repeat over and over. My family can't stand it when I watch it. So yeah.
Those are great choices. I have definitely seen all of those movies several times, and that's a strong list, a very strong list. Let's go to mentors. Who would you consider a current mentor of yours?
So currently, Alicia Tucker, Norfolk State, that's like big sister. Her and Jackie, she used to be at Norfolk State. Those two really helped me get into this career field. And also, let's see, my mom. I don't think I would be where I am without my mom and my dad. So definitely, even though my parents, they're definitely my mentors. And then Katricia at Birmingham, I believe, is it? Yeah, Alabama at Birmingham. Yes, those are my core groups of mentors. So.
Got you. Now, do you find yourself in a mentor role, being as though you have such a close contact with the student athletes? Can you kind of speak to that a little bit, just kind of how you may find yourself maybe unintentionally, being a mentor to these young men and young women?
Yeah, I would say I felt that way a lot at Missouri State. Just where my office was positioned, it was right next to academics. So you get that flow of athlete traffic. And so they come, stop by the office. It helps when you have snacks in your office. Mm-hmm. So, they'll come talk. It didn't have to be about athletics. It could just be about life. And then at Georgia Mason, I'm the supervisor for interns when they come in and want to intern. And so just giving them that kind of advice of how to get into athletics. My past intern, I built a very close personal relationship and kind of helped him. Like, he didn't know if he wanted to do athletics or if he wanted to step out. So that I could see myself in that mentor space, which that's what I like to do. So.
Gotcha. Kind of in my brief research, just wanted to make sure I was prepared for this conversation, recognizing we have some things in common besides being a part of MOAA. One, we both have lived in the state of Missouri. Then the other would be that we both were administrators that graduated from the Dr. Charles Wickham Leadership Academy, or Leadership Institute, excuse me. So just can you speak to that experience and what you have learned from that?
I will say the first day was just like, what did I get myself into? I will say that. And when I initially, I was just like, why? So I kind of felt that little anxiety, but by the end, I realized, okay, now I know what picked me. And going through that institute really helped me gain some confidence as an administrator. And then I also have now this great group of network of people, like my class, love them all. So I enjoyed it, and I suggest anybody to apply no matter how many times. So yeah, I really enjoyed my experience there.
Definitely a great experience. I can speak to the anxiety. You get a chance to meet and discuss various issues and topics, and have a great chance of building that family with fellow administrators who are very talented, very articulate, and intellectual. So I can speak to that anxious feeling you get, especially when you're competing to make sure when you are doing that assignment, trying to definitely be the best one and not. And as you know, and Jo, he can be very direct.
Yes.
So you want to make sure that number one, you don't get embarrassed or embarrass your team. So I'm just thinking back to that experience is making me smile. Definitely making me smile. So where do you see yourself in this profession? And I guess what's your 2 or 3 goals which you would like to accomplish moving forward?
One goal that it's actually like right in the forefront, I would love to build a student athlete leadership development academy at whatever institution allows me to do that if they don't have it. So that's one thing that's been on my heart to do. And I would, love, of course, to move up the ladder, love to be an associate AD and have more hands-on interaction with the student athletes. So those are the 2 things that I'm currently working on right now. So I'm hoping in the future that actually happens.
Got you. Now, in the theme of the month of February, definitely, obviously, we're aware that it's Black History Month. Can you just kind of speak to what does this month mean to you?
It brings a sense of pride and celebration because you're celebrating people who look like me, who've done great things. And so actually we launched at George Mason our diversity inclusion Instagram that I kind of helped create. And one thing that I wanted to make sure we did was to highlight events and people that normally don't get highlighted, that the student athletes might not know. We know the Malcolm X, we know Martin Luther King, Frederick Douglass, but there are other people in history that allowed us to move forward that some of us don't know. So that was my big piece for February. So I'm excited to put that content out.
That's awesome. Really great. Yes, I can definitely speak to because we have a lot of African American individuals that have done some great things, and obviously we are aware of the ones that are highlighted as we learn who those individuals are through our upbringing. But yes, there are a lot of individuals that we can place a spotlight on that the majority may not know who they are, but they've done some great things. So we're almost at the end of this conversation. So looking back on your journey, is there anything that you wish you would have known or any kind of advice that you would like to give someone that's looking to sit in the same seat as you?
Ooh. I'll go the advice route. Okay. I will say to always advocate for yourself and do your due diligence and look for, leadership opportunities such as the institute that we went to. I mean, I stayed on Google, like, what can I get into? What sessions can I get into? What academy can I get into to make myself better? So I've always told my interns, join an organization, reach out. So that would be my advice for anybody that wants to sit in this chair, to advocate for yourself because you're the best person to do that. Don't wait for somebody else to do it for you. So that I'll go the advice route with that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Be your own cheerleader, as they say. Definitely. Well, I definitely appreciate you taking time out of your day to speak with us. And so this is the portion of the show, we call it our MOAA Member Minute. And so it's a portion of the show where you would like to give any words of encouragement, any advice to anyone out there. So you have the floor.
Okay, so I wrote this down so I wouldn't forget. So what I want to say is, in a world that is constantly telling you no because of the color of your skin, keep fighting because someone who looks like you is watching. So that's what I want to put out there, to constantly keep fighting no matter how many no's you get, because a door will open. So
great. That's great. I love that. So this has been one of our episodes of the MOAA Member Chat. I am your host, Michael Bazemore. I want to thank you again, Shamika, for joining us today. So MOAA family, as always, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned.